What's up, guys? I'm coming through with another video on this Tuesday evening, and this is a video request from a subscriber, and he wants me to do this video on codependents and people pleasers. So listen up to this video. Being a codependent type of person and being a people pleaser is probably the most fearful way of life that you could live. Because if you're constantly people pleasing, you're doing this out of fear to keep people around. You might not necessarily see it this way, but that's what it is. Just by nature, this is what it is. That's why, even if you're a guy, let's say you're a male and you have a girlfriend, and you're always pleasing this girl, constantly buying her flowers, buying her this, buying her that, doing the extra work around the house when she should be the one that's doing the housework, right? If you're constantly being this guy, shit's gonna hit the fan with this girl. She's gonna lose attraction. Because she's gonna feel like you're doing this out of fear. She's gonna feel like you're doing this because you don't want to lose her. You know what I'm saying? And even me myself, I was brought up this way, and I never exactly modeled this behavior because, like, I was blessed enough to instinctually know right from wrong and what to do. And I did buy girls some flowers. I did do things like this. I did open doors for girls, but it wasn't like I was just this simp guy that was doing this out of fear, because nothing I ever did was out of fear, but I still modeled that behavior. I still did things that I probably shouldn't have done. Just all in all, like, out of the kindness of my heart, I think about the people that's in my life and that I love. I love these girls at the time, you know? I did things for them, and you just end up getting the shitty end of the stick because it's just not what this society is today. You pretty much got to be a savage to be about your shit. You pretty much have to be a selfish person and stop doing things like this. It is what it is. Anybody want to argue that fact? Because do these things and watch what happens to your relationship. She's going to end up finding some other alpha guy that's all about his shit. He's going to be ahead of you every way, shape, and form, you know? And she's going to end up going for him, and he's going to take her because she's a good-looking girl. It is what it is. You always have to stay on your shit as a person. And you should never live to be a people pleaser. I would rather 1,000 enemies than to be a people pleaser. I am a 0% ass kisser today, as we speak. Ain't one motherfucker on this planet gonna tell me what to do. And it is what it is. All you guys should be the same way. It doesn't mean our heads are huge. It doesn't mean that we walk out with our chest puffed up. Doesn't mean this necessarily. It's just you're not an ass kisser. You're not gonna, when somebody says jump, you're not gonna say how high. If somebody wants money, you're not gonna hand it over so easily. Unless it's a damn good reason, right? Because like I said, we are 0% ass kissers. You guys gotta be the same way. Don't let anybody in this world walk all over you. Don't let it happen. This is another dangerous mindset to have. Being a people pleaser. And codependent people, like, this is actually something that I didn't look into too much, but I know what it is. And a lot of narcissistic people are like this. A lot of narcissistic people live in fear. And I feel like, not just in the household that I grew up in, but the community that I grew up in, because I was a guy that wasn't always trapped in my house, being controlled by parents or nothing like this. I did have my fair share of freedom. I did have other places to go. I did play sports. I was that guy running up the roads, biking miles and miles and miles away from my house, going swimming across lakes, stuff like this with friends. But all in all, I feel the community I grew up in, I feel the people I grew up around, not just in my household, like I said. I feel like almost everybody were codependents. I feel almost everybody around me had this type of a mindset, and I had different thoughts, let's just say this. I seen things differently even without seeing any information at that young of an age, before like there was even any information on YouTube or anything like this. I was just a kid. I didn't know anything. Everything I knew was off by instincts, pretty much. Everything I was taught was basically a lie. That's why I always felt different my whole life, even in my childhood growing up. Like, there were some people similar to me too, like, we were just sports guys. We were really about our shit, and we didn't care what parents were saying. We didn't care what anybody else was saying. We were just living our life, being free. And it was some of the best times I ever had in my life, being free like that with friends, being young, running around doing reckless shit, climbing trees, jumping tree to tree, falling out of trees, swimming across lakes, biking very far. Even though we weren't necessarily allowed to do that, we snuck and we did it, because sometimes we'd say we're going to my cousin's house, which was just down the road, and we'd end up biking way down the road. Go to the dairy bar, get ice cream, bike to the shore, swim across, go to these girls' houses, do things like this, you know? But I feel like even us as kids, our parents were codependent type of people, and they try to brainwash us with this way of thinking. And they did their best to do this, but it didn't work, obviously, you know? And I feel like some people have it a lot worse. Some people are actually trapped with their parents. And honestly, guys, like, this was whenever I was a kid, you know? I felt more freedom when I was a kid to the time I started getting older, because they started getting more fear because I'm getting older and they know I'm getting out soon. That's whenever the more control started coming. I felt more controlled. I felt like they were trying to control me more, when it should be the opposite way. If they're going to try to control me at all, it should be when I'm a young kid, not when I'm getting older and know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, it's fucking crazy what people will do, and it was ruining my life for a long time. And I know some people, like I said, have it a lot worse. They're stuck in these situations. They're brainwashed with this mentality. They're brainwashed to be a people pleaser to other people, to give a handout for anybody else, do things for everybody else, be a nice person. But that's not even being a nice person. That's being like a fake nice person out of fear, so people will stick around. I don't give a fuck who's sticking around. I'm going to be myself. Whoever's going to be there is going to be there. It's the same thing with them. They're going to be their self. Whoever is going to be there is going to be there. We shouldn't be doing anything to make anybody stick around. Once you start having this mindset, watch how many people exit your life. Whenever I had this mindset, and it was the strongest in my life, when my mindset was the closest to being a people pleaser, I had the most fakes in my life. As soon as I stop doing this, as soon as I get my wits about myself again, everybody drops out. Now it's just you. You realize who your true friends are when you are not a people pleaser, when you're actually being yourself, for yourself. This is when you see the true light of everything. This is a mindset that will really mess you up. Like badly. It can ruin your whole life if you don't get away from that mind frame and develop more of an alpha mentality. You're not afraid of shit. You're not afraid of losing nobody. And I feel like not just the folks at home back at my place, but everybody else as well has this mindset. Even all the older folks, like our neighbors, people way down the road, I feel like everybody is the same in our community. They're all like this. They're all fearful people that have settled in life, and they don't want to lose shit. They don't want to lose any of us. They don't want to let any of us go. They're being toxic. They're ruining our lives. They're trying to tell us what to do when they don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people have to go through this. Some, it's more toxic to some extents. It can be way more intense for some people, and for other people it's not quite as bad, but it's still bad. Like it's bad no matter what if someone's trying to force this type of a mind frame on you to get you to live this way, because it is a life ruiner, like I said. And for some people, there's nothing they can do about it until they literally get the fuck out of there. It's a tough thing to go through. It's a tough thing to deal with. And then there are blessed people in this life that never ever have to go through this, and their parents understand what their own kids have to do, right? And they let them be free. They let them live their life. They're not so worried because they look back to when they were a kid too, and they knew what they wanted to do. They knew what they liked. And they basically just let their kids do what they're gonna do, because at the end of the day, our parents were us 2 seconds ago. What I mean by this is time goes by so fucking fast. Like, I feel some parents just have such big egos, and they force so much shit and bullshit onto their kids. It's like projection. They project a lot of shit onto their kids. They bully their kids, you know? I was the type of person, I never let nobody bully me. I was not a bullied kid in school or anywhere else. Nowheres. I wasn't bullied at home. I didn't let nobody bully me. Nowheres. Older cousins, nothing. I was always the guy that would fight back, even at home. But there was just some things that I wasn't powerful enough at the time when I was a little bit younger that I could get myself through. Even though I'd still fight back, they just had a little bit more power than me when I was younger. That's it. Still fought back. Always stood my ground. Always believed in what was in here, inside of me. And you guys got to do the same thing and be the same way. Get rid of this people pleasers mentality. Do not be a codependent. Be independent as fuck. I'm going to cut this video off now. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I got a lot more videos on the go right now and on the come up, so stay tuned for some more videos. Peace.